Top 10 ways you're picturing the world incorrectly. We are creatures of habit. We often make hasty and inaccurate assumptions about the world outside of our immediate boundaries, and then continue to believe these false claims because, well, we continue to assume that we're right, and it's become a habit. So with that in mind, it's time to find out which of our commonly held beliefs have been wrong all along. And like always, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel if you haven't yet. 10. Snake charmers are illegal in India. Right from childhood, we've associated little men with flutes coaxing snakes out of covered baskets with India. And going by our mental images, it wouldn't be too far-fetched to assume that India primarily consists of snakes on every corner dancing to the hypnotic music played by snake charmers. Well, you'd be wrong. Snake charming is actually illegal in India, and there are laws, specifically the Wildlife Protection Act of 1972, that prevent the keeping of wild animals, including snakes, for any occupational reason. 9. People in the Netherlands don't smoke weed as much as you think. Amsterdam is pretty synonymous with unregulated pot smoking. At least, that's what your friend Jared, who went there last year, would like you to think. In fact, it turns out that people in the Netherlands don't smoke as much as it would seem. The country actually sits below the top 10 for marijuana usage globally, bringing up questions as to why the Netherlands citizens aren't smoking every hour of the day when they're clearly allowed to. 8. Pretty much the whole world map. So, if you were a betting man, or woman, you'd probably put good money that the map of the world would at least be accurate. Well, it turns out that the Northern Hemisphere has been greatly exaggerated to the point where the relative size of continents have been called into question. It's difficult to determine whether this was a common genuine mistake or if it has a more sinister motive. But at least for now, you know not to trust everything you read on a map. 7. Most of Africa isn't actually dry or a desert. Contrary to what you may have thought, deserts actually represent a small fraction of the landmass in the African continent. Most of Africa is actually fertile land and mountains, and this false image of the African continent is probably due to Hollywood misrepresentation during the golden age of cinema. 6. Sudan has more pyramids than Egypt. Pyramids have been associated with Egypt for so long that it's typically the first thing that comes to mind when the country is mentioned. Well, aside from being the cradle of civilization, of course. So prepare for a shock. Sudan actually has more pyramids than Egypt. Hard to believe, but it's true. Sudan was the preferred burial site for quite a number of prominent Egyptian pharaohs and nobles, and consequently has more pyramids than Egypt itself. 5. Christ the Redeemer in Brazil. When depicted in videos and picture, the Christ the Redeemer statue in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil often looks like a colossus standing astride the entire country. Well, in reality, the statue isn't quite as large as that. Placed at the peak of the Corcovado mountain in 1931, the statue stands at 130 feet. Impressive, yes, but consider that the Statue of Liberty stands at 151 feet for comparison. 4. Indonesia has more Muslims than the Middle East. We've all associated the Middle East with Islam for as long as we can remember, and when asked to pinpoint the geographical region which could be described as the most Islamic for prize money, we'd probably all pick the Middle East. Well, we'd be wrong. It turns out that the country with the highest population of Muslims in the world is actually Indonesia, far surpassing the Middle East. 3. Modern Japan is stuck in the past in many ways. If I asked you to name a country where you think you'd casually walk into someone wearing a jetpack, you'd probably say Japan, right? Japan has built a reputation on being technologically advanced and forward-thinking, so much so that it's often regarded as the technological capital of the world. This isn't strictly true. Japan, for all its advancements, still remains stuck in the old world in some significant ways. For example, Japan still uses coal and is one of the largest importers of fossil fuels in the world, second only to China. Japan is also quite retro in its tastes, as most of its citizens have been shown to prefer older technology to more cutting-edge models. 2. Saudi Arabia import their camels from Australia. In what might be the most bizarre fact on this list, Saudi Arabia, which is what most of us would think when we picture desert sands, oases and camels plodding off into the distance, actually imports its camels from Australia. It seems like in addition to offensively muscular kangaroos and some of the scariest insects on the planet, Australia also has an excess of camels. Who knew? 1. Hollywood isn't the biggest movie producer in the world. It may be difficult to believe, but the Indian movie industry, Bollywood, actually puts out more movies on average than America's Hollywood, with 1,724 movies produced in 2013 alone compared to Hollywood's 738. In other shocking news, Bollywood affiliates T-Series have taken the crown for the most subscribed YouTube channel, surpassing YouTube legend PewDiePie. Scary times, ladies and gentlemen. So there you have it. That's the top 10 ways you're picturing the world incorrectly. Let us know in the comment section below your thoughts about the video. And if you enjoyed it, then please make sure to drop a like and subscribe to our channel if you're new. Until next time, thanks for watching and I'll see you then.